Wasbir Hussain. Sir, big meeting there lined up as far as the BJP is concerned. We just had the India bloc meeting concluding in New Delhi.
Absolutely. Anitam, this is not just an ordinary welcome that the BJP is planning for Prime Minister Narendra Modi. This welcome after the grand success of the G20 summit in New Delhi, not just a success for Prime Minister Narendra Modi, but that of India, which has arrived on the world stage with the world listening to some of the things that India has been saying. This is, as I have said, that has been one of the crown jewels of Indian diplomacy. Now, the BJP wants to take it to the masses, and it's a clear indication that the BJP wants to make India's foreign policy successes a part of its 2024 national election plank. Let us also remind our viewers that, this G20 has not just been the summit that we saw on the 9th and 10th of September, but over the last 1 year, there were 58 cities hosted the G20 summit, and as the Prime Minister said some time ago, 1.5 million Indians were directly or indirectly linked or associated with the G20 meetings culminating in the summit in the last few days. So this was clearly an attempt by India. India has been able to take the G20 out of the closet, actually, taking it to the masses. And this is a point that has been reinforced. This is a point that has been reinforced by the media around the world, that the G20 has gone out of the conference rooms and into the towns and cities in India. And to be precise, there were 58 cities hosted various types of G20 meets, including one in Arunachal Pradesh and, of course, in Guwahati. Now, basically, this success which India achieved at the G20 meeting, despite the absence of Chinese President Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin of Russia, despite that did not dent the success of the G20. Nobody thought, not many people thought, there were a lot of skeptics who thought that a joint declaration, the leaders' declaration, is not going to come about because of the differing stance on the Russia-Ukraine war. But Indian diplomacy at the end of the day achieved success. And as the G20 𝗘𝗱𝗶𝗁 has said, during those days, there were 200 meetings, and there were 15 drafts, at the end of which we had the declaration. So it has been a tremendous success, and also the success India's ability to bring the African Union as a permanent member of the G20. So now, in this backdrop, this is definitely a huge success for India under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and during India's presidency of the G20. Now, this is something which the party wants to translate into a mass movement. That is, this is something which the party wants to tell the masses of India, that India's foreign policy is now something which is keenly watched by the global community, global international community. And this is something which the world has acknowledged India's leadership role at the high table. Now, after this, now since the elections are due in a couple of months' time, the BJP definitely would like to make this an election plank, and this is absolutely clear with the presence of all the top guns of the BJP in that meeting, as you can see in this pictures on our screen. That is JP Nadda, the Defense Minister, even Home Minister Amit Shah is also coming, 𝗘𝗱𝗏 𝗀𝗏, and I can also see 𝗴𝗲𝗇 Fadnavis also arriving. So these are the top guns of the BJP already there to welcome and see the Prime Minister. We're also getting to hear the Prime Minister before attending the Central Election Committee meeting of the BJP is also likely to give a short speech, because there are people, BJP cadres, who are coming from far and wide around the national capital region. So this is a momentous occasion for India, the success of the G20, and this is something which the BJP wants to translate into public mood on the ground.
Absolutely. Wasbir, the opposition India meet that was held today agreed that seat sharing will be decided at the state level, and their first joint rally will be held in the first week of October in Bhopal. So the opposition also stepping up for the Assembly and Lok Sabha polls.
Yes, the opposition in India they have no choice but to gear up for the elections, because the massive drubbing that the opposition received in 2019 is something which is fresh in their memory, and they have made a last-ditch effort to put up a tough fight against the BJP, which is coming up with new planks all the time. Now, the INDIA alliance that has just held this meeting, that has just concluded this meeting at 𝗘𝗙𝗏𝗂𝗧 residence. They have decided to have allow the state leadership of the alliance to deal with the seat sharing issue, because they have no other choice, they have no other alternative, because at the national level it is a coalition of myriad parties. It's a coalition. It's a lot of people are saying that it's a hodgepodge kind of a coalition with people with divergent views coming together only against the BJP. So that's fine, they're free to come about, but they have also realized that seat sharing is something for the INDIA alliance. It will be difficult at the national level, and that perhaps is the reason why they have decided to allow the state leaders or the state alliance partners of the INDIA alliance to go ahead with this process of seat sharing.
That's right, Wasbir. Before, really curious to know one thing. You mentioned about how diplomatically it has been significant for India. How do you think this entire G20 victory of India is going to play out in the Lok Sabha elections? Do you think the Indian electorate, the voters, have come of age, to understand what India just achieved?
Well, yes, Tom, you see, if we look at India's electoral history, you always find that we have always seen that domestic discourses are the basis of the election agenda. It is basically elections are fought on domestic issues. And of course, a lot of people will argue that domestic issues get reflection in India's foreign policy. But that aside, I think this time round, I would like to hazard a guess. I would like to think that Indian electorate have come of age as far as foreign policy is concerned, and that has been largely because Prime Minister Modi, during his immense travel, during his frequent foreign tours, always make it a point to talk to the Indian diaspora, and this is something which draws a lot of media attention back home in India, and therefore people have realized how it is important for India to have a robust foreign policy, and the Indians are now feeling that they can stay abroad with their head held high, and largely because of the diplomatic maneuvers and initiatives of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, that he makes it a point to talk to the Indian diaspora, to interact with them, and when the Indian Prime Minister goes and meets people from his countrymen abroad, that definitely increases their stature, increases their importance, and this is something which gets getting a reflection back home, and that is the reason why I would think that foreign policy is something which the people of India now understand, the masses understand, and therefore this is definitely going to be an election plank focusing on G20 in the 2024 election.